Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. I know it's kind of hot, so please bear with us. This workshop is going to be about applied AI and its real-world impact. There will be a Q&A after the session, so if you'd like to ask any questions, please wait until the end, and that will be an option for you. For any newcomers, the session will be held in English. If you need translation devices, they will be out in the hallway provided for you. Our speaker today is Vahan Huroyan. Please welcome him to the stage.
Պետք է չեն ինչ որ ուրիշ բանի վրա գնացը։ Հա։ Վերջ։ Հա։ Thank you all for coming. Today we'll talk about applied AI and real-world impact. Well, first of all, thank you for coming. I know it's the last day of the forum and it's right before lunch, so I'll try to make it quick. Let me briefly introduce myself. My education was mostly in mathematics. I started here, the Yerevan State University, and then I did my PhD at the University of Minnesota. My work is mostly in mathematical data science, machine learning, and AI. Then my work experience is I worked at the University of Arizona. Then I moved back to Armenia. I worked at a research lab called Yerevan N, which focuses on theoretical AI and AI research. I taught here at the Yerevan State University and Armenian Code Academy. And currently I work at St. Louis University. So let's start with the question, what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? So I tried to give a brief, short definition. So AI is the science of making machines that can perform tasks or solve problems that usually requires human intelligence. Now these problems, these tasks can be classified into several groups. So I tried to focus on 4. Learning. So basically, take a massive data set and try to learn patterns from the data, try to make conclusions from this data. Reasoning, basically solving problems and giving reasons why the system gave this answer or that answer. We'll focus on all of this later more. And then perception, this is probably the most important one. This is understanding sensory data. For example, images, texts, videos, speech. So basically, we want AI machines and systems to get a glance of the world just like we do. So we see, we hear, we somehow want to transfer this information to AI machines. And then decision making. So we want these machines to make decisions at the end. Otherwise, it would be useless. So next, I try to give a brief history. I try to pinpoint some important events that happened in AI history. So the term AI was first used in 1950s. There was a conference which basically started artificial intelligence. Since 1956, 1950s, there was a lot of funding and a lot of research interest in AI. A lot of countries, a lot of universities invested a lot of money and hired a lot of researchers to work on problems related to artificial intelligence. And then it took decades. There was a lot of theoretical research, some of it successful, some of it not successful. But eventually, the next event that I think was very important is when Deep Blue by IBM beat chess world champion Garry Kasparov. However, this AI, the AI that happened before 2010 and AI that came after 2010 are completely different things. So things before 2010 were basically rule-based systems. So they were greedy. Basically, you had to explicitly tell your program, your AI system, how to act for each individual use case. While starting 2010s, it shifted the direction into more machine learning, deep learning based systems. And the first milestone was there was a neural network called AlexNet, and by a large margin, it beat the existing state-of-the-art for visual recognition challenge. So basically, it's a challenge of having a bunch of images and trying to understand the objects in the images. So since 2012, the AI boom started. So the neural network deep learning model started tackling most of the AI problems. And currently, almost all of AI is based on deep learning and neural networks. And then a couple of other important milestones. 2016, DeepMind, so it's Google's AI, Google's sub-company, AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol. So Lee was Go world champion, and Go is a more complicated game than chess. So people thought that AI could never play Go, especially it could never beat the champion. However, 2016, there was a match, and out of 5 games, AlphaGo beat the champion 4 times. So this was another milestone. 2020, AI was already making some important contributions to science. AlphaFold, which also belongs to the same company, DeepMind, which is part of Google, made a lot of progress on protein folding. And actually last year, 2 Nobel Prize winners for chemistry were founders of, were actually the researchers of that came up with AlphaFold. And since 2022, AI entered mainstream. I'm sure you guys all have used ChatGPT, DALL-E, Gemini, and all the current systems. So basically, starting 2022, AI entered the mainstream, and we all started using it. And I added one more milestone. I don't know if it's a big milestone, if it's considered to be a big milestone, but 2025, another version of Gemini with DeepThink. So it achieved gold medal from International Math Olympiad. So it's International Math Olympiad, it's every year around 500, 600 students compete, and only less than 10% of students get gold medal. So right now there is an AI which within the same time frame could solve the problems and achieve gold medal. All right, let's move forward. So as you can see here, there were some milestones before 2010, but in the last 15 years, we just have a lot of things happening. And what's the reason for this? Well, there are several reasons and several things happen together. I tried to separate 3 important ones that I think are important. So the first one, data explosion. So basically, right now, in the last 10, 15 years, we can create a lot of data. So we all have cell phones. We can take a bunch of images. We text a lot. We write a lot of text. Click, videos, and pretty much everything. So we generate a lot of data. And not just generate, we can also store this data. So this was not available 15 years ago. And if you want to have a good AI model, if you want to have a good AI systems, you need a lot of data. So basically now we generate a lot of data, and it's a good time to analyze this data. The second important milestone, not the milestone, the second important thing that happened in the last 20 years is the computational power. Now modern CPUs, GPUs, and TPUs, they allow fast computations, and we can train models. Now actually, if you think about this, these actually were not created for AI. So for example, who knows what were GPUs created for? Or what was the main use before AI for GPUs? Any ideas? Yes. Say again? Before that? Video games, right? So it got really popular, and they started creating a lot of GPUs for video games. And then, you're absolutely right, next they started using it for crypto mining. And then, since it just max fast computations, people started using it for AI, for training AI models. And the current GPUs, they're actually fitted for AI models, so whatever computations you need to train your model, you could just use the current GPUs and TPUs. And also the cloud computing. So before, you could only train models if you had your own GPUs, but now you could just rent a server and easily train a model. So things are accessible now. And at last, so there are better tools and algorithms now. So research has developed in the last 20 years a lot. There are a lot of great papers that contributed to the current AI. And also there are a bunch of open source libraries that you could directly use to train your own model. So some of them are called PyTorch, TensorFlow. If you work in this area, I'm pretty sure you've used them. All right, I've seen this code a few days ago, and I decided to include it in this presentation. One of the pioneers of machine learning AI, Andrew Ng, said AI is the new electricity. And actually, if you think about it, a decade ago, when people just started using electricity, it just completely changed all the industries, right? So it just replaced manual labor. It enabled factories, right? What else? Trains, or pretty much if you think of any industry before, let's say 1850, and industries after that, electricity just came in and just completely modified it. Well, the same is happening with AI, right? So pretty much every single industry that you can think of, people start to automate things using AI. Basically, all the repetitive tasks, people try to outsource to AI. But actually, so we can think that it's trying to take our jobs, right? Because that's what electricity did, right? You just automated a lot of things. You just didn't need much manual labor. But also it created a lot of jobs, right? So before electricity, we couldn't have electricians, or we couldn't have anything related to computers. And these are fields that a lot of people work on them. So it just eliminated some jobs, but it also created a lot of jobs. So here I just wanted to distinguish between two aspects of AI. There's research AI, and there is applied AI. So research AI tries to come up with new models, new algorithms, faster, better, that you can train, while applied AI just takes these models and algorithms and tries to build the world, tries to apply it on some real use cases. One example is, in 2017, there was this paper called Attention is All You Need, where they introduced this new architecture called Transformer. And then people started using it in applied AI. So if you know these models, let's say ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of them are based on the transformer that was introduced in a research paper. So basically, research AI just lays the foundation, while apply AI just tries to push the industries and just create new opportunities. Now, what do we actually want to use AI for? Well, we all in our work have tasks that are annoying, are tedious, that we don't want to do, are repetitive. Let's say if you're a teacher, you have to grade. If you work at a bank, let's say fraud detection, you have to go through a lot of transactions. So basically, things that we know how to do, but it takes time from us, we want to automate them, right? So we don't want to just sit and repeat the same work over and over, but we want to have an AI, a system that could just do that for us faster, and that would eliminate also the human mistake. So for example, image comparison. Imagine the satellite images. You get a bunch of satellite images every day, and then you try to see what changes happened in some particular areas. So you need someone to sit down and just compare images. So to compare two images, it would take 2 to 3 minutes. And just imagine how many images are there. That would just take years. While if you have an AI system that can automatically do it, that would be perfect. So basically, all the tedious, annoying tasks, we just want to outsource to AI. But also for this, we just need good quality human labeled data, which is also not cheap. Now, even if we don't actively use AI, it's just around us. And basically, we just maybe passively use it every day. So the autocomplete, right, when we just text in our phone or write text, it just suggests the next word. Voice assistants, say Siri, spam filters, and then if you use Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, all the recommendations. So all these are based on AI. So maybe we don't actively use it, but passively it's just always around us. Maps, navigations, smart homes, face detections. So basically, it's just around us. Every time we leave our house, we just interact with AI. Let's actually, for the next couple of slides, just talk about AI in some specific areas. So for example, AI in healthcare. AI actually started being used in healthcare a lot. So basically, think about the watches that we wear, or the wearables. It could be, it could track our sleep. It could just check our blood pressure, heart rate. So this could be used in predictive health. So it could alert us about, possible heart attack or possible sugar coma. Right, so they just track us 24/7, and if there are concerns, and doctor gave you the device, you could just have it with you, and it would just let you know that maybe there's a heart attack coming. Hospitals and labs use it. It could actually read MRIs, X-rays, CTs. Basically, wherever there was a chance that a doctor could be tired and make a mistake, the AI systems are not tired. Well, they can also make mistakes, but we just remove the human error, and they can be used as like the initial scanning step. It could be used in drug discovery. There were some significant achievements recently for drug discovery using AI. It is used to come up to devise new drugs. And also it could be used for custom treatment plans. All right, AI in finance. I'm pretty sure you guys all use banks. And fraud detection is a big issue for banks. Now there are just millions of transitions every day, every hour. So AI systems are faster and better at catching some malicious activities. So banks use it to detect frauds. And also it's used in algorithmic trading. If you guys do trading, you know that sometimes you just want to do a transaction, you want to buy a stock, but you see that the price jumped or went down. So basically, these systems are faster. They can analyze the previous trends and then try to do the transactions faster. And also another way that AI can be used in finance. So there is a lot of human bias in finance, especially if you're applying for loans or if you're trying to take money from the bank, right? There's a lot of human bias based on race, based on gender. Of course, AI is trained on human data, but there's a whole new field called fair AI that's trying to eliminate human biases from the data and models. All right, AI is used in agriculture a lot. There is a field called precision farming, precision agriculture, where there is AI attached to a drone. It just flies over large fields and takes pictures or videos and analyzes the crops. So it could let us know that, the soil is dry, this area of soil is dry, so apply more water. Or it could just quickly find some possible diseases based on leaves or the color of the yield. It also can help us with yield prediction. So based on the weather, the soil, or the pictures, it could just tell us how much yield we should expect that particular year. In robotics, actually, a lot of scientists think that the next 10 years of AI belongs to robotics. It's just used in manufacturing. So basically, very high precision tasks can be outsourced to AI. It can perform quality control, right? So basically, let's say you want to have, make cars, and then you want a person to just check if the car works. But now there are just systems that you can attach, and then it could just run diagnostics and give you the final report. It helps us with logistics. just move around things, retrieve. And of course, service, so it can help us at home. If you guys have the vacuum cleaner, now there are better versions of it, and a lot of money is invested in creating service robots that can do many things at home. Another field that I'm actually very much interested in is AI in education. Now, AI can help students to learn better, and it can help teachers to teach better. So for example, for students, it could help to get real-time feedback, or it could be more specialized. So some students learn slow, some students learn fast. Sometimes you need different approaches, and in a classroom of 30 students, it's hard to just treat all of them the way they want or they need. So basically, there's a hope that with the use of AI, we could solve this problem. And also, in many rural areas, there is a need for some specific teachers that's hard for them to reach to that area. Now there are systems being built that can use AI just as a teacher, a substitute teacher. It can also help the teachers to, basically there's a lot of repetitive tasks, for example, grading, or you just want to assign some homework, but you want to assign different versions of the homework. So basically all of this can be done with the use of AI. But there's this funny meme I saw, I just decided to include it here. So AI might put you in a loop. So imagine a teacher who just makes the questions, homework questions, using ChatGPT, and imagine students using ChatGPT to solve the questions. So basically everyone is happy, but students didn't learn. So we have to be smart about AI in education. It's transforming the education, but we also have to be careful. Now, AI is great at generating things. And actually, just a few minutes ago, outside, we were just talking about this. So AI is great at generating things. It can generate text, it can generate code, it can generate music, it can generate pictures. But it's not very good with verifying that it is what we actually want. So if you use ChatGPT, you've probably heard the term hallucinating. So sometimes it just very confidently gives you just wrong information. So we always have to, at least at this stage of the AI, we can always use it to generate, but we can't trust this authority. We always have to verify it. And sometimes it just creates a loop. So you have to generate, verify, and then give it to AI again and just keep generating and verifying. Well, so we talked about AI, but for example, Bill Gates still thinks that the current AI, the current software is pretty dumb. But there is a hope that it will change our lives eventually. And the reason that a lot of people think that AI is dumb is because right now it's just a tool. So we give it a task, and it just solves the task for us. So we give it an image and ask, is there what's in this image, and it just gives us an answer. We give it a sentence, we ask it to translate, it just gives us a translation. But the current shift is into agentic AI. So basically now, instead of just giving a single task, we just want to give a goal to AI. So for example, just instead of giving a single task, let's say write this part of the code for this website, you just describe the website that you want, and then it just generates it. Right, so these are called AI agents. And currently there's a lot of research, and there are a lot of companies investing a lot of money on agentic AI. So basically it just needs to plan, execute, and then reflect. So it has to check whether whatever it created is meaningful, are there any mistakes or not, and then go back and improve it. Okay, so instead of just creating it one time, it just has to just come up with a plan, execute, and then see what worked, what didn't work, and then just in a loop try to come up with the final product that you wanted. So for example, let's say you want to travel. So one thing you can do, you can be like, go find a ticket for me, go find a hotel for me, find a nice hike for me. And instead of that, imagine to an AI agent, you say, I want to have a good time in Italy. and then it just plans the whole trip for you in Italy, including tickets, including all the specific times of the hikes that you need to go, bus tickets, train tickets, and everything. So instead of specific goals, instead of specific tasks, you just give it a goal, and then it just do it for you. Now, what are the keys for Agentic AI? So you want them to act autonomously. So you want them to carry out goals with just minimal human intervention. You want it to reason and plan. You want it perception. So basically, you just want it to know you, right? To know the environment that the agent needs to work. You want it to be goal-oriented. You want it to have a final goal and then just work towards that goal. And you want it to execute, right? A couple of examples, other examples for Agentic AI. So for example, autonomous vehicles, right? So let's say you're trying to go home, but you don't want, you can drive, right? Or you could have a machine that you like drive me from here to there and then check the traffic, now drive me back or go through, loop around here. But what you want to do is you just want to say, take me home, and you want it to take you home, right? So you want it, so there are a couple of examples. Waymo and Tesla Autopilot already do this. There are smart home energy management systems, some by Google, that real-time monitor the energy that you spend and then temperature outside, the price of the electricity, and so on. And there are some agents in cybersecurity. So you don't want to check whether there is something going on in your computer, or let's say you're running a server, right? So you just want to have this agent that can check for different things and eventually just let you know that, oh, there is this malicious activity, and try to stop it. All right, so we talked about AI in finance, AI in agriculture, in many different fields, but probably the most effect it has on workspace in our offices. So if you're a programmer, it just helps you with coding a lot. It helps you to write code, debug code, find mistakes, and so on. So there are a couple of very powerful tools right now, Cursor, Copilot, that you can use. It helps us to write, to draft emails, to summarize things, generate ideas, brainstorm, edit text. There are many AI tools for this, Notion AI, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, anymore. And of course with design, so there is this Canva, DALL-E, but also Photoshop and PixArt. They all use AI to create design tools. All right, how many of you heard the term vibe coding? Vibe coding, a term? So I was asking how many of you heard the term vibe coding? There's a new term, it's called vibe coding. So basically, I'm sure almost all of us at some point had an idea, and we were like, well, I could make this app, but I don't know how to code, or if I knew how to code fast, if I had like 2 months, maybe I would just make this app, right? But now there's a shift towards so-called vibe coding. Basically, you code with English. Okay? So there are tools where you just describe what you want, and then it just generates the code for you. We're not exactly there yet, but there's a lot of work in that direction. And one of the pioneers in this field, Andrej Karpathy, from a couple of years ago, had a tweet pinned on his Twitter called, "The hottest new programming language is English." So basically, you don't code in Python or JavaScript. You just use plain English sentences. You describe the product. Say again. There we go.
I was trying to learn coding. I'm like, why can't I just say something?
Yeah. So maybe just wait a little bit longer and you don't have to code anymore. You could just use English. So for example, you say, build me a budgeting app that tracks expenses and sends weekly reports. And then you don't have to do anything else. It just creates a database, creates the app, the interface, and that's it. Of course, we're not there yet. So right now, the way we use AI is you don't just give the goal. It's not like the agent that you give the goal and then it does everything for you. You just have to go step by step with smaller chunks. But this is something that people believe in a couple of years will be there. Just with plain English, just describe what you need, and then it will just generate the app for you.
So should
English better. Well, actually, I think by the time where this would perfectly work, it would probably work with Armenian too. You don't really have to learn English, or probably with all the languages. So if you currently use, let's say, Cursor, I believe you could just ask it to write your code. You could just prompt in Armenian too. So you don't really have to use English for it. But let's call it not English, a natural language. All right, what's the next step? So whatever AI we talked about is called narrow AI. The next step is called AGI. It's called artificial general intelligence. So what is this? This is still an abstract term, but there's an AGI race. All the big companies, Google, OpenAI, the Chinese companies, they try to achieve AGI first. So AGI would be, it's pretty much an hypothetical AI for now that can perform tasks with the level that the human intelligence can reach. All right? So right now, in some specific tasks, the AIs that we have can do a better job than we can do. But the goal of AGI is for all the tasks, you want to have one AI that could just act like a human. So for example, it could just solve research problems for us. So basically, the current AI is focused on the problems that we know how to solve. The AGI can solve problems that we don't know how to solve. Okay, so it can do research. It can just come up with the wrong solution, find its own mistake, and then just improve it. So basically, the AGI models, what we're missing right now is transfer learning. So you want to transfer ideas or knowledge from one domain to another. So for example, let's say you know how to play chess, and you want to take your knowledge of strategic planning to a business, right? So the AGI should be able to do it. The current AI doesn't do it. It's just specified for some specific tasks. The AGI should have common sense and long-term memory. So the current AI, they're improving the long-term memory. So if you've been using ChatGPT for a couple of years, so initially it didn't have much memory, and then slowly every year you see that they're saying, well, now ask us to summarize something that we discussed a year ago, and just can precisely summarize the discussion you had. And of course, it needs to have self-reflection. So basically, you want AGI models to do research, so you want them to sometimes make mistakes, face their mistakes, try to correct them, and so on. All right. Now the other side of AI. So we talked about AI and how great it can be, but also it could be used for wrong reasons. So for example, deepfakes and disinformation. I'm sure you guys all have seen videos that you thought are real, but they were generated by AI. It's pretty good at with images, making fake voices. So we need regulations for this, right? So basically, it could be used for scams, for political manipulations, and so on. So that's actually a big problem, and some countries already started coming up with laws to against deepfakes and disinformation by using AI. And of course, the bias and fairness. The current AI is trained on the data generated by human, so whatever bias against each other we have, this is transferred to AI. So there are fields in AI now called fair AI that work on this. Well, privacy and surveillance. Now there are very good face detection algorithms, and there are cameras everywhere, right? So you just want to know who is watching you and why. They can identify where you are if they need. So this is also another issue. And the most important one is autonomy and accountability. So let's say if you have a car that's fully AI, if it gets into an accident, who is responsible for it? So all these questions need to be answered. And there's a lot of work in these directions. I had one more slide. Right. Yeah, so the road ahead. So basically, to conclude, AI is not just hype. It's a powerful force that's already here. It's reshaping the world. it's just everywhere with us, in our homes, in our pockets, in our banks, grocery stores. And again, so it's not, a lot of people are concerned that AI is going to take our jobs. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but we can use AI to be better at work. So I try to look at things with this perspective. Now, looking ahead, so we discussed narrow AI, so that's the AI that we have now. We talked a little bit about AGI. Some scientists call the next level of AI ASI. So this will be, hopefully in the future, so this will be AI systems that would surpass human intelligence. But the AGI, there's a race for AGI, and some people think that we'll have full AGI by 2030. Some people think that that's too early, maybe 2050. But I guess at this point, nobody knows. Yeah, I guess that's all I had.
Thank you guys for being here, and thank you, Vahan, for joining us today. I'm sure everyone learned a lot. I know I did. We will be conducting a Q&A session, so if you guys have any questions, we should have a volunteer coming in soon to pass around a microphone, but until then, I can get us started. So if you have a question for Vahan, please raise your hand, and I'll pass you the mic, and you guys can direct your questions at him.
Hey, thank you very much. My name is Gagi Kavdisyan. I'm studying aerospace engineering in the Netherlands now. I think my question is mostly to do with autonomy, because especially in my field of engineering, there's a lot of talk about AI, especially when it comes to autonomous rocket launches or self-flying aircraft or drones and stuff. So my main question is, I think, just an opinion question. Do you think AI should go in the direction of complete autonomy, where it has complete control over what it does, or do you think it should stay more as a tool to aid humans and make their jobs easier?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. If it was up to me, I think there should always be human at the end to kind of verify or give the final pass. Maybe in some fields that are safer, we could give AI full autonomy, but if it's a field where it could pretty much do a lot of damage, we would probably need a human to give the final pass. That's what I think. I don't know what's the, I don't think I talked about with aerospace engineers about this, if they have different perspective.
I mostly agree. Do you think it's heading in the direction of autonomy? Or do you think it should, or do you think it's going to keep going with like humans checking?
Yeah, I think in some fields it's going to full autonomy, let's say coding, so you don't really want to check all the steps. So in some fields it's going towards full autonomy, but I believe in dangerous fields like yours, it can go to full autonomy.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Vaskem Panosyan, and thank you, Vahan, for the very interesting talk. I wanted to ask, what do you think are some advantages that we can find in localized AI compared to what we currently use as like the larger language models?
That's a great question. You mean locally in Armenia?
No, localized like on my own computer system,
Oh, I see,
specified very much to what I might need.
Well, I believe safety, because there is so people are worried that their ChatGPT messages would get leaked, right? So you don't want your messages or your, whatever you discuss with AI to go to a server, because there's always a worry that it can be leaked. So I believe privacy. I believe privacy would be probably the most important one. Especially, let's say, if you use AI for, let's say, government purposes. If you pass government documents through AI, you just don't want it to go to a server that's in a third country. So I believe in these scenarios, just for privacy reasons, a localized AI would be better. Let's see if there are other use cases. I don't know, maybe it can be faster if, right, we don't have fast internet everywhere. So probably if you have it locally in your device, or if you're in a place where there is no Wi-Fi, maybe in these scenarios, local AIs in your device would be beneficial.
Do you think the lower amount of bloat, let's say, for example, I work in finance, I don't really need image generation. Will that help reduce hallucinations and give more accurate results? Or am I better off using ChatGPT that's utilizing all the questions that you asked and he asked and he asked?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't know. There's a lot of research to eliminate hallucinations, but it's not there yet. Eventually, I believe scientists would come up with ways to decrease the number of hallucinations or completely eliminate, but I don't think we're there yet. But I know there's a lot of research in this area.
Hello, my name is Lucy, and I wanted to ask, as you have already told, nowadays AI is integrated into every part of our life. And my first question is, what are the biggest ethical challenges it can face? Because it doesn't have humanity as we do. Do you think it can ever be ethical? That's my first question. And the second question is, what are the most surprising ways to use AI?
Most surprising? Well, it's, what do you mean by ethical? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, for example, sometimes we, in our life, we do some choices, some ethical choices, human choices, that AI just can't understand.
Yeah.
Do you think, will it be possible, like, that one day it will understand?
AI is a system trained on human data, right? So right now, we just use human data to train it. If in your data, let's draw a parallel with humor. Let's say you train AI on all Armenian available data, videos, text, and you ask, so it will understand Armenian humor, right? Or it will understand Armenian mentality. So I think somehow, not somehow, but I think the current systems, just because it's trained on data, so it has some humor, or it has, it will act ethically the way that we act. Not fully, but it will. I think it depends if there is a need for that, right? Is there a need for that? If there's a need for that, the research will go towards that direction. So for example, there's a need for fair AI, and there's a research that pushes AI towards being fair, because you just want to eliminate biased ideas or biased decisions that AI could make. But it came from the human data. But there's a need for fair AI, so people push for it. The research pushes for it. So if there is a need for ethical AI, there will be research pushing towards ethical AI. But it's trained on human data, so I believe it acts in a way that we do in some scenarios.
Thank you. And what are the most surprising ways?
Surprising? That's that I used or that people use?
Yeah, people use, you use. Just interesting for you that you have.
I don't know, that's a good question. Therapy? There we go, therapy. People use it as therapy. I don't know, you guys give me suggestions. What do you use it for? Anyone?
Hello, I'm Loris, and I wanted to ask, do you think that we can the governments can use AI in military resources like Baykar drones produced by Israel?
I'm sorry, say the last part again.
Baykar drones by Israel, produced by Israel. If they can use AI.
If they can use AI?
Yes.
I'm sure they're using AI.
And it can be uncontrollable, no? They can't control it because of facial recognition. I don't know.
I don't think I understand the question. Okay. I'm sorry.
It could be controllable if we use it in military resources.
Well, depends how you use it, right? But I'm sure if you use drones or if you use images, then somehow you already use AI in it, right? Let's say you want to enhance the quality of let's say you take an image of a territory and you want to enhance the quality. I don't know, you can use AI and there's no need to worry about privacy, right? Well, in some cases you have to be careful, and I'm sure government has regulations against it, but I don't think they don't use it. They probably already use it. But I don't know the specifics. We need someone who works in military to give us the details. But that's actually a great question.
Hello, my name is Alec. Thank you for the presentation. So I work as a supply chain manager in aeronautics industry. And I'm used to create KPIs every day. I used to do it manually, like to collect the data, check the data, build the KPI manually or via, for example, Excel or Google Sheets. Now I use something more advanced like Looker Studio. But the problem is, because of that, I feel like I'm less useful for my team. I'm more like a speaker, or I communicate the results, but I'm not bringing any effort anymore to my team. Do you think this is a threat to my job, for example, to my position? I'm more viewed as the communication guy, the guy who communicates all the results. Mm-hmm. Do you think it is a threat to my job or to my position, to the people like me who create KPIs?
Well, it could be a threat if you don't use AI, right? I think it's not that AI will take over, but I think people who use AI will be more useful than people who don't use AI. Just imagine if, let's say you need to transport, give me an example, a paper from one country to another. And let's say you drive, I take the plane, and somebody walks. Well, the job needs to be done, but the one who can do it faster more efficient will be useful, right? So if in your job you figured out how to use AI to make it more efficient, then I think you're doing great. If you don't use AI, then somebody else who uses AI and is faster would just take over. That's my opinion.
Because right now I have less workload than before.
That's good, right?
My job is easier, but I'm getting bored.
Oh, you're getting bored?
I have less work to do.
Yeah, that's...
So it might be a threat.
Well, there are always new things to learn. You know, you can always prepare for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my question is about whether you think AI could someday fully automate the whole economy. Whether basically AI could do the job of every single human in the economy, or at least the basics. Let's say like food, the housing, and the basic necessary needs of people. Could AI meet them without the need of human acting on it, let's say?
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. And if I have to guess, probably not. But if at some point we thought if we have computers, if you can compute things faster, then there is nothing for us left to do. But we created computers, we created new industries, and this whole new digital world was created right after that, right? And there's a lot of things to do in this digital world. So things that we do now, probably AI can do, but I don't know what else will be later that we would need a new software, or we would need men to do, right? So I think maybe yes, maybe whatever the current needs of humanity, maybe, but there will be new things. So it's that's my opinion again.
Hello, my name is Aram. First I want to say thanks for this interesting lecture. I want to ask you, I'm a surgeon, and my question about medicine. What new tools or technologies in AI are created for medicine? And I want to listen your vision about can AI replace the doctors in their profession? Thank you.
I've seen some videos where AI or a robot does a surgery. Is it correct? Or? I've seen some videos where a robot does a surgery.
It can be. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I've seen other videos where the surgeon is, let's say, in Armenia, and the surgery is in, I don't know, let's say United States.
But
So
they not use the AI.
well, it's a robot. Okay, so you're talking about autonomy, whether you just give the person and it just does the whole surgery by itself?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Would you? I don't know. That's actually a good question. Would you trust an AI doctor? No. You would trust it? Yeah, I guess. I guess there will be work towards that direction, but I don't know if people would trust it.
There's no liability.
Say again?
You're wasting the person.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be held liable.
Yes, sure.
Liability.
That's yeah. Well, but I believe a lot of things will be automated. I don't know. Maybe a difficult heart surgery you wouldn't trust an AI, but if it's some reconstruction of a bone, that's easier to do. Maybe you could trust. But I believe there will be shift towards that direction, yeah, that's a tough question. That's the same with automatic driving, right? Would you trust an AI to drive your car? Why not, right?
And what about the new technologies for medicine in AI?
Well, I know that they use AI, especially the LLMs, for drug discovery. For example, AlphaFold, they're used for drug discovery, right? It's not there yet. There is a team in Armenia that works on it at Yerevan Research Lab. There is a team of 5 or 6 researchers working on drug discovery using AI. And there are many other teams around the world that does it. But I don't think it's completely there yet, but it's a research direction. So if a lot of people work on it, probably somebody had a vision that it's doable, and then maybe it's doable.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. I just had a question regarding the protection of the data, because since the point of AI is to collect and process data, you said that ultimately we want AI to be fully in full capacity, have all capacities and unlimited power, if I can say it like that. But my question is, how do we guarantee that these data will not be misused? And I don't know, there's a question of liability as well. I know that it's in process. There's a lot of discussion, whether it's in the European Union or in the US. But as a lawyer, that's the first question that I ask myself. How can we guarantee that these data, if we use them, whether it's for work or personal use, how can we protect these data if the point is to give AI full autonomy?
Yeah, that's also another great question. Probably lawyers have to answer the question. Well, the current systems, so there is also research that tries to make sure that the data doesn't leak, or if you use something in training, it doesn't, your system doesn't, give that answer. So for example, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think New York Times sued ChatGPT because somebody asked a question and the response was a text from New York Times that you had to pay for. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. So yeah, it's a tough question. But I think as the AI develops and as the law kind of will start following the steps and try to catch up and try to come up with guarantees or making sure that the data is not misused. But of course, some people would use AI for good reasons, some people would use AI for bad reasons. So it's a tough world, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Avites Dedikuzyan. I work as a research scientist in the automotive field, so I'm more of a user. First of all, thank you for your presentation. My question is related to the efficiency and the inefficiency that AI introduces, because with every good, something bad comes along. And you have demonstrated a lot of examples of how we can bring efficiency in our daily lives as well as users. But I'm more curious about the inefficiencies that it introduces, because recently there was a case of an Airbnb host that submitted a claim for a broken table to Airbnb, claiming that the guy who slept at the Airbnb broke it. It was deepfake. But there are also examples of, for example, claims of damaged Amazon shippings from users. And my question to you is, in general, do you think that these inefficiencies is something that we should live with for the greater good? Or is it something that you think we can also overcome with the advance of AI?
Well, that's a great question again. It's, with every technology, there are misuses of the technology as well, right? So just like that here, you could just create fake images and claim, that they broke your table. But I guess eventually we'll have systems that would pretty much tell us whether the picture was taken by a camera, maybe if all the cameras have signature on them, or the picture was generated by AI. I think eventually the technology and the science will catch up and try to eliminate these cases. But then probably something else will come up. But if there were no thieves, right, we wouldn't have advanced locks, right? If there were no hackers, then the technology wouldn't advance this much. So I guess these are challenges, but this would also lead to newer technologies which are safer, better. So that's the hope, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the difference here is that AI, compared to other technologies that were introduced, has the capacity to solve the issues that it has introduced in the past. Or
AGI or ASI would probably, or agents, if you give them full autonomy, like, hey, solve this, maybe they'll do it.
And if you allow me a very quick follow-up question, we're discussing AI here in your event, so I was very curious of what is the state of AI research and adoption in Armenia, and whether you're aware of that?
Yeah, well, the lab I mentioned, Yerevanen, it's a pretty advanced AI research lab. It has around 20 scientists working on different areas. So there are three main areas: computer vision, AI in chemistry, and AI in IOI, IoT, Internet of Things. There are other groups as well that work on NLP. There are a bunch of startups. I don't know if you guys had a chance to meet with some startup CEOs here, but there are a bunch of startups that are using AI. I don't know if you Pixart, Crisp, Podcastle, and many more. I don't want to miss anyone. And there are programs where you could do masters in data science. So this, it's pretty active. There are weekly seminars. If you guys in Armenia, you're interested, there are weekly AI seminars at Yerevan State University. So there is some activity in the community. If you guys are interested, feel free to join.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot, there is NVIDIA office here now.
Hello. My name is Rima. I have a question that might be a little bit more on the philosophical side. I'm curious if you think we're losing anything by kind of offloading a lot of these tasks to robots. I was looking at a paper recently that was talking about how the brain functions of people who use writing AI assistive tools kind of diminishes as they begin to depend more and more on the system itself. So I'm not anti development of technology or any of that. I'm just curious if you think we're losing anything in the process of automizing and offloading a lot of our tasks to an artificial intelligence system.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely losing, but we probably lost as much throughout history, right? We don't know what we lost before by automating different things. So for example, when in early 1900s, where we started having cars, before that there was a huge industry of horses, right? And there were many jobs related to them. I mean, and all of this is gone, but it's, before that there were, I don't know if it's a good example, but what I was trying to say, we lose something, we gain something. Definitely we're losing. We're losing probably creativity. But maybe it's okay. I don't know. But we're definitely losing. Yeah, same with, I guess, music. We can start generating music with AI. But I don't know if I think there will always be. So think about that. People don't need to go to the gym, but they still do, right? So the same way people maybe won't need to generate music, but they still will, just because it's fun. But we're definitely losing some creativity.
Hi, my name is William. First of all, thank you for the lecture. It was nice to hear. I'm studying economics in the Netherlands. My question is regarding to financial markets. Because as we know, financial markets are mostly based on emotions and insider trading and also asymmetrical information. Do you think that AI is a threat to the financial market because it aims for perfection, and if there is perfection, there is no way actually to gain from financial markets? So why, do you think it's a threat, and how we can actually try to balance it, let's say?
Try to what?
Balance.
Oh,
like
balance.
To not create a perfect market, because then there's no way to gain.
But probably the financial market balances itself, right?
Yeah, that's true. But even then, it's like mostly based on emotions, right? And if he replaced by AI, is it like a threat? Do you think, or is it?
It's I don't know if it's a threat, but it will change it. It will definitely change the market. But still, it's maybe the purchases won't be on emotions, but it's still based on a lot of news, right? Or so, for example, if in the last, let's say, was Twitter a threat to financial market? Somehow, right? It changed it, right? Because now people tweet and then it just, you see stock went down or went up based on a tweet. So I guess it will change it. I don't know if it's a threat. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just taking a lot of human factor from it.
Thank you.
I don't know, maybe it's better, right? Maybe we'll just start, maybe companies will start having the actual value that they have if it's not based on emotions. I don't know. I'm sorry?
Trading is a thing right now, and you see more spikes in trading charts. Because as soon as someone puts news of a company online, there are bots that are tracking them and directly buying in or selling the stock.
Yeah, it's definitely changing.
So the chart fluctuates a lot. It spikes a lot.
My question might be outside the scope of the talk, so I'm really sorry if it is. But I remembered when DeepSeek came out and it was allegedly made in 48 hours. So the question is, if, assuming that is true and no foul play was had, if AI will become so easy to make, or like little agents or smaller models will become so easy to make, what can we as individuals do to protect ourselves from, let's say, hackers or other malicious actors that might just keep generating more and more like easier, less ethical models? Like, what can we do as a person?
I don't know, probably push for regulations. I don't think as individuals we can do anything, but also it's already there. So it's the models are already up there. Probably push for regulations, I guess. We'll hope that for next couple of elections you'll have, in campaign you'll have, parties saying what they would exactly do about crypto, about AI. I think as individuals, probably there's nothing we can do. Just has to be a system fighting against it.
And do you think you can create an AI model in 48 hours? Unless you're like a super exceptionally gifted person. I don't know. I don't want to make allegations.
You don't really need to be gifted to create an AI system, right? The research and the technology, a lot of things are open source, so you can just repeat it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think what they claim to do is the training was 48 hours. So it means that they either had a lot of GPUs or they came up with a smarter way to train. But it doesn't matter if you train it in 48 hours or in, let's say, 2 months. If the results are the same and both are available to you, it doesn't matter if the one was trained faster. So I think the issue was that because if you remember when they announced DeepSeek, a few days before that, US announced, I forgot the name of the project. Say again?
The NVIDIA chips?
Say again?
The NVIDIA chip embargo, that they weren't going to give them NVIDIA chips?
I don't know, they probably, but they had some big announcement that they would buy a lot of chips from NVIDIA. And then it was a shock because people claimed that you need, let's say, months to train AI, and they were saying, well, you don't need months, so you don't need that many GPUs. I think that's what created the shock. But again, I'm not an expert in this field. So
Thank you.
May I ask a question as well?
Yeah.
So I'm studying AI as well. I've joined late to this talk, but I have a question. So it is believed that AI is going to take over some jobs. Is it going to be a threat to us?
Well, I think we probably talked about it a few times, but I think an engineer or professional who is equipped with AI tools is what the companies would want. So if you're an engineer, you're equipped with a lot of AI tools, you know how to use, I don't know, Cursor, Copilot, then if you're a good engineer, probably there is no threat to you. But if you refuse to use AI tools, somebody else who uses them will be faster and more efficient. So in that case, probably you need to be worried.
So you kind of glanced over and you mentioned people using AI in the workforce and this and that. So I wanted to ask if you think the workforce has been impacted at all because of how hiring companies and hiring managers are now using AI to filter through applications, and kind of like the example you said where students and teachers are both simultaneously using it. I feel like people that are on the job market and looking for positions are using AI to write their resumes, and then in turn the hiring managers are using AI to sort through it. So do you think the kinds of people that have been hired for positions maybe they shouldn't have been, maybe were underqualified or overqualified and are getting rejected, if that's changed anything in the force?
Yeah, that's another great question. Well, but you don't really get hired based on your CV. There's always an interview. So maybe it helps you to jump the first layer, but there's always an interview.
Do you think maybe people who are qualified, and if a person had kind of gone over their resume, because I think from what I've seen, they use AI to kind of just get that first sponge out of the way and sort through the initial stages before proceeding, and then actually humans go over the resumes. But those AIs kind of scan for those keywords in the resume, and if someone maybe is a great candidate for a position but doesn't have their resume sorted in the way that the AI can recognize as being qualified, would reject that out of the first batch.
Yeah, that's an issue. But I mean, if you're qualified, maybe after a few rejections, you'll be like, oh, what is missing in my resume? And then you'll just start using AI as well. It's a problem.
It's a cycle?
It's probably a cycle, yeah. Eventually, if you're qualified, you'll figure out that, well, something is missing because I'm not getting any interviews. And then you would just start using AI to get a better resume.
Do we have any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, let's get another round of applause for our wonderful speaker.
Thank you.
And then lunch is being served outside if you guys go through the panel auditorium. Thank you.